that for a self-driving car, so there's a startup that's doing self-driving cars. They just got purchased by Ford, I think, and they're taking applications for people to sit in the driver's position. Guess what the pay is?
Is it hourly or?
An hourly rate. Just to sit in a driverless car.
$12 an hour?
$12 an hour? Dude, $23 an hour. Yes.
Do you have to know anything?
No, this is even in Arizona. You have to go through their training program. Oh. Well, hello there, fellow viewers, to the Holo Herald Podcast. I'm your host, Erik. This is really hard to think with this on, actually. Anyways, I'm just going to pretend like it's not there. So, welcome to the HH Podcast. For those of you that are tuning in for the first time, this is a podcast focused on AR, MR, VR, XR, TR, QR, FR, TR, I don't know. Any reality you can imagine, we'll probably be discussing it, and other realities, even real-life reality.
Like Paul's reality.
Paul's reality, which is a patented term, so don't go try to steal that from us. So anyways, this is episode number 34. Is that correct? Someone help me?
I think so.
Episode 34.
Yes, 34.
Perfect. Episode 34. And if you guys are joining us for the live stream, welcome to the live stream. Please leave some comments in the chat below. We're going to be talking about a lot of stuff today. We actually have a lot of cool stuff that's been happening recently, so we have some good topics to hit on. Not a whole lot of news, but a fair amount. And if you guys are listening to the pre-record version, as always, there's comments below. Please leave your guys' comments there. There's normally a lot of discussion that happens. There's also the link dump and the timestamps. Sorry about getting the pre-recorded version out last week. We kind of missed the ball on that one. Thanks to YouTube, again, we edited the video, and I normally do it in the YouTube editor when it's a live stream just because it's easy. I don't have to take it out, render it, blah, 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 blah. And it just sat in, like, the editing process forever. So it's just, like, in limbo, and we can't put it live. Well, we could, but the edits aren't done. Anyways, not important. Let me introduce who I'm here with. Go ahead and introduce yourselves, boys. Let's go ahead and start with the person to my right.
Hey, guys, it's Austin here again with the Holo Herald Podcast. We got some cool things that we're going to be talking about today. So, yeah, excited for this.
And our friend all the way on the other side of the pond.
Hi, I'm Paul, coming to you from Cincinnati. I don't have a cool-ass headset, but I have one in my dreams. It's great. You guys look amazing, by the way.
How did we look? I couldn't see anything.
It looks awesome. And yeah, I'm excited to talk about your guys' recent trip and a lot of other stuff happening in the mixed reality world.
Yes, we're super excited to talk about it. And on the Swisher board today, we still don't have a camera for him. Maybe one day we'll do a face review. We have Caden, so everybody could say hi, Caden, in the chat. He'll also be manning the chat, so under the Holo Herald name. So if you guys say anything over there, he'll reply to you guys. Okay, I guess let's just jump into it. Any quick announcements before we get into the meat of anything? Has anything happened recently? Well, besides what we're going to talk about. Anything super pressing, though?
Nope, I don't think so.
Can you think of anything, Paul?
I would say let's just get into what we were planning on talking about, and then go from there. Because I think most of the news this week is kind of like, it's not like smaller news, but I think our personal experiences will be better to talk about, you know?
Definitely.
So I want to talk about your guys' trip and how that went. So could you do a little explaining for our viewers?
Of course we can. So, last week, as I mentioned in the podcast, probably a lot of people are missed out on this because the pre-recorded version, which we'll probably release tonight, sorry for those of you, we mentioned we were going to be in San Francisco for the opening of the new Microsoft Mixed Reality Academy in San Francisco. We got invited down there, and we decided to take the opportunity because we've always wanted to go to these live events and meet with the people and meet with everybody that's there, but we were really broke. So we never ended up getting to go. And this one just kind of jumped right out at a good time, and we scrapped together as much cash as we could. And so we spent like 2 days in San Francisco. It felt like a week, though, man, didn't it?
It's because we were just so full of like stuff to do.
Boom, 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 here, there, here, there, here, there. I was exhausted after. I don't know how you went hunting after.
I know.
Were you tired?
Oh, yeah. I might have slept in a couple hours.
So, anyways, we have a lot to talk on. I mean, I can talk about some of the... Well, let's just get into it, I guess. So we flew in to San Francisco Thursday morning.
Morning.
Thursday morning, pretty early, and then we kind of had the day to spend in San Francisco and stuff, and then we got to the new Microsoft building, which was awesome. It's right in downtown San Francisco, and this just kind of showed me how much money Microsoft has to throw around. This is downtown business district San Francisco. This is a huge corporate building where actually corporate Macy's in San Francisco is located. Same building. Shout out to Macy's. And they have the floor, the main floor that you walk right into the building. They just bought out the entire floor and just put in a bunch of mixed reality stuff to help developers learn in a cool mixed reality space. So, I mean, it's pretty ballsy to do for Microsoft. So, I don't know. What should we talk about? Sorry, I kind of distracted after taking that headset on. It took me into a whole new world.
Well, I guess we could start from the beginning of the event. Alex Kipman made a cameo.
Exactly, yes. So we actually had a lot of footage from the event. We're going to be releasing tons of videos. We got to see so much stuff. Tons of new releases, tons of stuff that hasn't been released yet that we got to try on and look at. And then we got to meet the one, the only, Alex Kipman, which was pretty awesome.
Yeah. He just spoke on the advances in mixed reality and how it's changing the world and how it's the next big thing.
He really is a total badass.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. He shows up. So this is like his event. I don't want to say it's like his quote unquote his event, but I mean, he started the mixed reality movement. He did everything, and this is like a really big move for them. But he showed up for like the first 10 minutes, gave a speech, and then was like, "I have a dinner date to meet. Peace out," and just left everybody.
Yep.
It was awesome.
Yeah. We wanted to grab a picture with him, but he was gone.
Yeah, no, he walked off the stage, and like 5 people swarmed him, and we're like, "Oh, no problem. We're here for 3 hours. We'll just get a picture later." And we looked around after 5 minutes, gone, completely left. He's like, "I got more important people to see than you plebs."
Yep.
Did he have any words of wisdom for the lay people?
No. It was basically just like, he was basically like, "Keep doing what you guys are doing."
Yeah, you guys are great.
And then
Keep developing.
he was wearing all leather, like leather pants, leather jacket.
He always wears that jacket.
Yeah, he's got a style. He's got a style figured out. He's a lot shorter than I thought he was in person. Yeah. He's pretty short. So, anyways, it was really cool to see him. He seems really nice. I wish we got to talk to him more, maybe in the future. But it was a cool event. There was only like, were you expecting more people at the event, or?
Yeah, I was expecting it to be a lot bigger, but it was a pretty intimate event.
Yeah,
I enjoyed that aspect of it.
I did too. There wasn't a whole lot of people. The space isn't huge. You guys can probably go look up pictures of it if you guys just search Microsoft Reactor on Google, it'll probably pop up pictures of the building and you guys can kind of see what it looks like. But anyways, we have tons of videos. So for you guys, we're going to basically spoil everything so you guys can still watch the videos, but we're going to talk about everything we videoed for the people that are listening. But it was really cool. We got to meet a lot of people from the community, and we got to meet a lot of like the companies, especially a lot of the developers we've been talking to.
Yeah, like Taqtile and what was
That's
the other?
awesome.
Yeah, what was the other guys?
Object Theory.
Object Theory.
Yes, they were really cool.
Yeah.
So I guess let's start off. So So the first thing we got to do is you walk in and it had like a line of every VR headset that they have. There was
every
like
Windows mixed reality. VR.
Yeah, there was like 7 or 8 of them, right?
Yeah.
And they just had them. They weren't plugged in to be able to try, but you could pick them up and put them on your head and see which one was more comfortable. We filmed a whole thing on me trying them on and seeing which one was most comfortable. And Paul, you'd be pleasantly surprised that actually the lower end ones I found to be the most comfortable.
Yeah, the Acer
Really?
one is awesome.
Yes.
It's super comfy.
So yeah, we'll get to that, the Acer one in a second. But yeah, there was one by Acer, Dell, HP. Oh boy. Samsung.
Was the Samsung one there? Oh, cool.
Yes, it was.
Which Samsung one? Because I think there's 2 different Samsung ones.
The HMD one.
Oh, like-
whatever.
Yeah, the like $500 one.
Are you talking about the one with like the cool fractal thing on the front of it?
That was.
No, that was Asus.
Okay, Asus. Thank you. I was trying to remember so hard who made that device. No, the Asus one was the only one that wasn't there.
Yeah, and then there was that weird like off-brand one we talked about last week, that came with the laptop.
What's it called?
Vuforia?
Fujitsu, yeah.
Fujitsu.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, that one was there.
Yeah, that one was there. So there was basically a mix of everything. So any questions, Paul, that you can ask? Or anybody in the audience, you guys can go ahead and ask some questions that you guys have about the headsets now, and I'll kind of answer them. I tried them all on.
Okay, so
Go ahead.
oh, so was there a major difference between like the more expensive one and the cheaper ones in terms of performance that was immediately clear to you? Like, if I just coming off the street, if I'm someone and I come in, am I going to notice that they are different
I guess.
just by performance? If it's like a blind test, which obviously it wouldn't be a blind, but like you can't see the outside of it. Some guy just puts it on you.
Okay. Like software performance wise, like hardware, like.
Yeah, hardware performance. So I'm assuming they ran demos on them.
Yeah. So.
No, these ones didn't have demos. They were not plugged into anything.
So I guess you could talk about like the Acer headset because we actually got to try that, and then we talked to Jesse. He got to actually try the Samsung version and just talk about the difference between those. That's the high end versus the low end.
Okay, yeah, that's a good place to start. So to answer your question, Paul, so these devices sadly weren't plugged into anything. It was really kind of a bummer, actually, that they didn't plug them into anything. So we could just like pick them up and try them on. But they did have a bunch of demos of different stuff set up with the Acer headset, which is the one we have on our desk right here, which is the one that I was wearing when we first started. And it was really cool. Just to start off, first impressions of the Acer headset were awesome. And then Jesse from the Holo Developers Slack got a quote-unquote private demo of, it was kind of silly. Like, I walk over there, it's like the event's all over, basically. Everybody's gone except for, like, me, the Holo Herald group, and Jesse, and some other people. And he's standing over there, and he's trying the Samsung one, right? And I wanted to try it really bad. So I walk over there, and I'm like, I want to try that one. And the lady's like, that's a private showing. And I'm standing right next to Jesse. Like, I'm literally like a foot away from Jesse. And I'm like, how come I can watch him do it, and he's going to tell me all about it after, but I can't see it myself? Whatever. Anyways, I was just complaining. Anyways, he got to try it, and I'll totally trust whatever he says way over anything I would even say. And he said the Samsung one was by far better, actually.
Interesting.
So the extra...
So,
go ahead.
no, I was just wondering, like, how did he say it was better? Like, is like was it running like higher frames, or what made it better? Did he explain, or?
So I actually think the first off, the Samsung one, people can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know as much as I need to about the mixed reality headsets. We're just barely getting into them. The Samsung one is a higher resolution, which is important. And the biggest thing Jesse said made a difference is like the parallax switcher. I can't remember what it's called, but anyways, it's a little knob at the bottom that lets you separate the lenses
So
for
you
the
get
screens.
a more fine adjustment to your eyes.
Okay.
You know.
Exactly, because I think Oculus and I think Vive have them, but it is the only headset that has that. And Jesse's a big guy. Like, I didn't realize how big he was. We saw him, and he's 6 foot something. And he's a big guy. And so if you can, the Acer's definitely more built for just your average person, but someone like Jesse definitely needs that finer adjustment to be able to, because his head's a different size than everybody, to be able to adjust it out. Or kids, I think could also really benefit from that, being able to switch your focus.
Yeah, and jumping back to the Acer headset, the ones that we gotta try, during use, it was a bit jumpy. Just moving around, like it lagged sometimes, but nothing like, it was noticeable, but it wasn't like ruining the experience terribly.
And Jesse says that was not as noticeable with the Samsung version.
Yeah.
So I think if we were going to purchase one, we haven't spent much time with the Acer one. If you're a first-time purchaser, also, okay, preface this, getting a little scrambled. So let's just talk about the devices in the first place. So you have the Acer, which is $400 including controllers. That's just your base model, and I think like 3 of the devices are $400. 2 of the devices are like $450, and the Samsung one is $500. I think that's like the breakdown.
And
so
it all comes with the controllers, right?
That's including controllers. They're all about like $50 less if you buy controllers separately. But why would you buy them separately?
Well, in our case.
In our case,
Never mind.
that's a different case. But I think there's definitely benefits to all of them. But in my opinion, just get the $500 one.
Yeah.
Just definitely, just dump the money, because guess what, Paul? The Samsung has built-in AKG headphones on them.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
Yes, and they're actually really
That's
comfortable.
And
Exactly.
it has a higher resolution.
Yep.
It has a higher resolution. It has the adjustable stuff. The fit. It doesn't have a flip-up display. So as the other ones, I can show it right here for people that are watching. As you can see, this has like a little click right here. So if you're wearing it, it just like flips up on your head like that. The Samsung does not have that. Honestly, I don't think that's really that big of a deal. I feel like this is more of a point of failure than anything else in my opinion. So the Samsung doesn't have that. One thing I was interested to find is you don't realize how big this is. We're going to do a whole breakdown video of this later on, but just for people that are watching live right now, you don't realize how big and how much of a difference this makes. The headsets are all really comfortable. That's one thing I was really surprised with. You tried on a few of them.
Oh yeah, like 10 times more comfortable than the HoloLens.
Easy. Easily 10 times more comfortable. Padding everywhere, super light, nothing resting on your nose. There was quite a bit of light leak to all of them, so I won't like detriment some of the others to it. But honestly, if you guys are pre-ordering and you guys have to do it now, my recommendation would just be drop the little bit of extra money, get the Samsung one. Because even if you have your own headphones, I like the idea of VR being like an all-in-one device. That's kind of my biggest thing about VR is because I don't like that you have to buy the headset, the headphones, the computer, the everything. You just got controllers. You got to add everything on. So why not just like buy all-in-one bundle, basically?
Right, and that's what the Samsung gives you.
Yeah, exactly. But for you guys' future reference, the Dell, in my opinion, was the most comfortable out of all of them that I tried. Any other questions, Paul? Do we have any questions in the comments or anything?
Nope.
For me, how was the respective weights of them? So you said they're more comfortable than the HoloLens. Do they all weigh about the same? I can imagine like the Samsung would weigh a little bit more and probably, as a result, maybe be a little more uncomfortable for long-term use.
Samsung one weighed slightly more. Just because I think the built-in headphones, the headphones are really nice on the Samsung. They're over-ear, but they press down really comfortably on your ear and almost eliminate all outside noise, which I found a really big factor because I'm not a big fan of over-ear headphones, but these ones were really good. I'm assuming that's because AKG built them. But the weight of the headsets is significantly less than the HoloLens. I don't want to say like half because it's not quite half.
Number one HoloLens fan says it's Samsung is the most heavy.
Yeah.
Out of them all.
Yes, it is the most heavy. Not super noticeable though because on the Samsung, it's almost like a hat. Like it comes up on top of your head quite a bit. Like this little angled part right here really comes up on your head on the Samsung one. And that's because it doesn't have the flip up thing. So this whole thing is like one mesh unit. We'll talk about it in a video. It'll be easier to explain in a visual perspective.
Hey, number one HoloLens fan, what's the weight difference between the Samsung headset and the HoloLens? You can go find that for us. That'd be sweet.
He'll probably know it off the top of his head.
Yeah, probably.
So after this event, we got to try the VR, and we still have not got to hook this up. We hooked it up to our computers, but we haven't got to play any games yet. We don't have controllers for it yet. What are your thoughts on your first impressions of mixed reality, Windows mixed reality?
I think it's a lot better than what I expected. It's definitely because I've never actually tried VR before, so I guess this is my first experience. But I'm certainly glad that it's through the Microsoft way of doing it, like the mixed reality way of doing it, because it just leaves a lot of room to grow and become like a really awesome integration into productivity, gaming, or whatever. I can see a lot of uses for it in the future.
Yes. Was the experience like good enough? Were you expecting it to be better quality, or was it better than you thought?
I think that's what I was expecting.
Yeah, that quality.
Yeah.
I think so too. I don't think my expectations were like extremely blown out of the water, but I also don't think they were let down at all. It was like right where I was expecting. I would recommend. Would you recommend a friend to pick them up?
Yeah.
Pick up a device if they have a computer that could run it.
If that's something they're into, and like, yeah, sure.
I think I'd recommend a friend. Now that we have one, now I want all my friends to have one.
Yeah.
Just because I want to be able to play VR games with them and stuff like that, which is one of the major things we talked about when we first were talking about the VR stuff. Any other questions, Paul, that you're curious about? Be a prospective buyer and grill us, and we'll try to sell you on it.
So Austin, you said that like you can see a use for it. Like, explain that to me because isn't it just like your normal classic VR headset? And a follow-up question, why is it better than cardboard VR?
Good questions. Good questions.
Why is it better than what?
Cardboard. Google Cardboard.
Cardboard.
Okay. So, in response to your first question, like the way Windows has set it up, it's you get like this mixed reality space where you can have all your apps and your like Netflix, YouTube, whatever, and games and stuff. It's all in a nice place for VR. It's like all VR ready, and it's just really seamless. Like I set it up and like it's already going.
It's plug and play.
Yeah, it's plug and play, and I know that's not the case for other VR devices.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that answered your question, but it's just really easy, and I can see like the average person like using it in their daily lives.
Yeah, the demo is set up so it's like your OS is now is like a little house. Like you
Yeah.
have a little house, and on the bottom floor is your entertainment room, and that's why your entertainment apps are. And then like upstairs is your like office where all your office apps are and stuff like that. And you can move throughout the space, and it's all seamless. It's really plug and play. You just basically download the creator's update on your computer, and it's all preset. You just plug in your VR headset, and then the stuff runs.
And now I think I have a more fuller understanding of what Windows means by mixed reality too.
Me too. Me too. It actually feels like HoloLens stuff. It like a lot of the it runs exactly like HoloLens does in your own room. It's weird. Like the apps you grab, they're like the panes that you drop on your sides. It's like a HoloLens simulation inside of a VR world. It's really hard to explain until you've tried both devices. But it's a really unique experience. I see more gaming for it personally than productivity stuff. I really, really like that it doesn't have towers like Vive.
Yeah.
I think Vive is probably a better VR source. So if you guys are really into VR, I still think Vive's feel probably a little bit better. It's also a little bit more expensive, and you have to set up towers in your space. I love how you don't have to set up any towers. You literally just plug this into your computer, and you throw it on, and you're good to go, which is awesome.
Granted, if you have the right specs
Yeah, if you have the right spec on
and
your
the
computer.
creators update, but
And to answer your question
So
about
that-
cardboard, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I'll follow up after you talk about cardboard because that
'Kay.
was important to me.
So we were driving when we were walking through the airport, and it was really weird. We saw a kid just sitting like on the ground in the middle of the airport with a VR headset on. I've never seen someone use VR
Yeah.
in public before.
it's like whoa.
And he was totally into it. He was moving around, looking around, trying to find stuff. I don't know. He was really into his VR world. I was like, holy cow, that's awesome. And I totally saw like a little snippet of the future right there when I expect to see everybody inside of the plane waiting for stuff in VR headsets.
Can you
Anyways,
imagine being on a flight and just not being on the airplane?
yeah, exactly. You have your headphones on. You're like playing Call of Duty with your friends or completely at home doing whatever. Anyways, Second Life basically.
Yeah.
To answer your question about cardboard, cardboard's nice because it's on your phone. You don't have to buy anything extra. It's like $15 to basically get VR in your stuff, but you will not get the. You have to try it. I think that's the biggest thing holding VR back is you really have to try and compare the two right better because we have both, and I can tell you that this VR is significantly better, especially with the controllers and especially with the graphics and the apps and the integration into everything. But you really just have to try it, wouldn't you say?
But if you want like a simple VR experience, then yeah, get a Google Cardboard. But if you want something that has an ecosystem, has support behind it, has games ready for it that are run well, then go with this device.
Exactly. So
That
what's your
sounds
follow-up?
pretty awesome, especially like that like VR hangout type thing, like like the house being like your operating system. Like, wouldn't it be cool if you could have like people come visit you in your house and you guys could like sit and watch Netflix together, even though like for instance us, like if you guys want to watch a movie, like I could get my own VR headset on and we could all like watch Netflix in VR, you know? Like it'd be kind of cool.
That'd be sweet.
That would be
Just-
awesome.
And that's like a big productivity thing. Like if you're working across like the country with another team, like being in the room with their avatars is a much bigger like driver of productivity, in my opinion, than just like getting on a video chat or something, you know?
No, yeah, you're exactly right. And that brings us to another thing we saw while we were at the meetup. We'll kind of shift away from VR for a second. We can come back to it. But we got to meet with a company called Object Theory, who are actually fans of the HoloLens. They knew who we were without us, and we never talked to them before or anything. And it was funny. The guy, one of the fellows, oh man, I really wish I could remember his name off the top of my head. We'll have to get it. I should really know all their names.
Yeah.
He was like, "Oh, dude, if I would have just closed my eyes and listened to your voice, I would have recognized who you were because he was somebody that listens to the podcast." Paul, I can't explain. I'm going off on a tangent. I can't explain how cool it was to meet other like-minded people because here at the Holo Herald, it's kind of just like a circle jerk of all of us being like, oh yeah, MRVR is so cool, and there's like nobody around us because we're in like rural Utah, and so there's no tech scene, there's no anything like that, and so it's basically just us. I can't tell you how awesome it was to talk to other people that knew what you were talking about. You would reference mixed reality, or I would make a Magic Leap joke and people would laugh.
Like, we could fluently have a discussion about MR. It was so cool.
And it was
like the
badass.
spectator view guys. We were just like back and forth with them.
And the funny thing was because it was a lot of like, most of the people there weren't like big mixed reality VR people. Like most of them, this was their first time trying HoloLens, or this was their first time trying VR. They were just in the areas and they worked for Microsoft or a startup, so they came, you know. So when we got to talk to the people and we were actually talking back and forth, they were super excited and receptive to talk to us about everything. I mean, there's so much to cover. It was like a 3-hour event, and I wish it could have been a couple hours longer. But I can't just tell you guys how nice it was to like meet other people that were excited about the platform as us. It was like such a good like boost, a rejuvenator. And I think the convention in February is going to even be better than that because those guys are even more nerdy about this stuff than the
there's
companies
gonna be
are.
like a huge hackathon, which it's
Yeah.
gonna be sweet.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. But it was cool to also see people that knew us, but we didn't know them. Not like a famous person moment, but it was just cool to be like real people actually watch our content. Because normally it's just like a view counter that goes up, you know, and it's just like a random figment or a comment. And then you actually meet somebody and they're like, "Oh, you're from the Holo Herald. I watched Dating with a Hologram. That was hilarious," and stuff like that.
What the hell?
Exactly. So that was awesome. Anyways, we got to meet with Object Theory, and they're building an app. Think the best way for me to explain it is think MR Hangouts, but built around productivity. So instead of like a social environment, it's built around productivity. It's the same people that made. Oh no, I don't think they've made anything else.
Number one HoloLens fan says they're pretty big on YouTube.
They're pretty big on
you
YouTube?
should check them out.
Yeah, so you guys can check out their YouTube stuff.
But it was really cool because they had like 3 HoloLens set up, and they're like, "Okay, Eric, take this. Austin, you take this one," and we would boom right in this app with like this mountain, and you could like place. It was just a demonstration, but you could place like flags, and it showed like the altitude of the mountain. But like, you were both there, and you could see everything that the other person was doing, and like there was an avatar for him, and it was just really cool what they're doing. What
was really weird is, so think if you guys haven't seen or need reference of what we're talking about, go watch our MR Hangouts video. And it's like that. It's by an actual company, so it's built much better, obviously. But the avatars are completely customizable, and it shows where they're looking. So I could watch where Austin was looking at this mountain, and every time he placed a flag, it would pop up in real time for me. And as I moved the mountain, it would move for him. And what was really cool is, which they said was a coincidence, is his avatar floated right over where Austin was standing in the room.
Yeah, yours was really lined up too.
So as Austin would take a step, his avatar would take a step right there as well. And it was really cool, which they said was an accident, but it looked pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That's probably something you wouldn't ever see anymore because you're supposed to be hundreds of miles away from the person that's using it. But it just shows you that there's like real companies behind it, like pushing this technology forward. And they said they're planning on releasing a demo app for users to try and stuff like that, which will be really cool. It's not just a company app for Fortune 500 companies and such. They were really nice people, though. And if they're listening to the podcast, I give a shout out to Object Theory. Great people, really nice people. Their app is sick. They said they're going to give us a pre-order code for it, and we cannot wait. So hopefully by the end of 2017, they'll be ready to release an app like that, and it'll be freaking awesome, especially for someone like Paul, that's a perfect use case for us. If we're planning out stuff, if we're trying to do anything, Paul's so far away that we have no way to interact with him, really.
Yep. And they said it was
Voice chat and stuff. So yeah, that'd be good to have like
that'd be cool
an
to have.
interactive experience where I can mess with stuff in your guys' space, and you guys can see what I'm doing.
That'd be cool if we could get you like on the live stream through the HoloLens. If you had a HoloLens over there, we could somehow.
They said it also works with the VR headsets too, so it doesn't just have to be.
So we might have to ship you the VR headset one of these times.
or once they start hopefully we'll get some other units maybe
Yeah.
in. We talked to some people. Hopefully we can work something out. Maybe get another unit here.
Yeah.
Because they say it works with VR too, so not everybody just has to have a HoloLens. People can have VR, and people can do a lot of stuff, which is awesome. That cross-platform integration, I think, is going to be really important to further the technology of AR and MR. So I hope all of these apps that people are building for the VR headsets come out also for the HoloLens and everything. It was really awesome. All right, moving on to some other stuff we saw. We also got to meet with Taqtile. For you guys that don't know, they're the ones that make holo maps, which we've talked to over email for 6 months now, so we're already pretty good friends with them. It was cool to meet them in real life. And they're working on a new app. Oh, man, do you remember the name of it? Everything was happening so fast.
It's called Manifest.
Manifest. Dude, you're great memory. It was Manifest. And this isn't going to be one that they're going to release to the public, but I still got to try it, which was really cool. And it's what we've all been waiting for, and what everybody thought was a good idea is a training app that's actually good.
Yep.
So we tried like the how to change a tire with HoloLens and a lot of training apps that teach you how to do certain things, and they were all cool and they were all good in their own right, but this one was actually really good. They had like an engine on a table, and they had holograms all around it, and it taught me how to go over all the checks on it and everything, and it was really easy for even people that don't know how to develop to go in and create and add steps on how to do stuff. It was really awesome. They could pull up like PDFs, YouTube videos, all right there.
So I never got to try it, but so Eric, they laid out like this piping system for you, and did they have like tags on it that made it so you could see like holograms?
They use like a QR code to set it up. Like I talked to the main engineer behind it, and he says they're planning on using a QR code. So you'd walk over there and it'd either have like an IoT device or a QR code on it, and you just look at the QR code, and then it automatically pops up all the live data. You imagine if you have IoT things like thermometers or there's so many IoT things. Anything, you could get the live data just by looking at it. You wouldn't have to look at any gauges. You wouldn't have to do anything. You could also do it remotely. Like, oh no, a flare goes off, and then you have to walk to the middle of the factory and check out this thing. And as you're looking at it, it gives you all the steps. And let's say you forgot how to do it, or you haven't been trained correctly on how to do it. You just click step 2, how to check the temperature, or step 2, how to turn down the temperature. I don't know, whatever. But it was actually really good.
Just install these in like airplanes, just in case there's a crash and someone needs to fly the airplane.
Oh, that'd be cool. They just like put a HoloLens on right there.
And it tells them what to do in that situation.
And it's used also for like massive things. So you can actually train people on like dummy tools. They use like jet engines, because you can't just get your hands on jet engines super easily. And that's the kind of people they're marketing to. Or oil fields, where people have to drive out super far in the middle of nowhere where they don't have internet or anything. They can preload everything they need, go out there. It was really awesome. It was a really good app. And it was cool to see something actually. I really hope they bring a personal edition out, or something because they were really like developer minded and non-developer minded, so that means people that are developers can come in and build their own stuff for it, and people that build like, I'm trying to think of a good example, like an engineer, not necessarily a programmer, but they're the ones that know how it works. So they're the ones that can go in and create all the steps really easily. It was really awesome, and I would love to see something like that for personal use. So I can just download the app, and you just have this huge repository of things to fix, like a Dyson vacuum. Maybe Dyson makes it, or if Dyson hasn't made it, I could make it, and I could go automatically do it. So let's hope that they do. They don't just focus on huge Fortune 500 companies. They can actually focus on.
Maybe they'll like partner with some company that their parts break all the time,
Yeah.
so you can easily like fix and follow the instructions.
It'd be awesome. What, Paul?
Yeah, and then they could set up like a marketplace. So if you're like really good at fixing things, so you're actually getting like compensated for sharing all your knowledge. Either like you could like sell the instructions on how to fix things, or I guess it could be just like an open community where your payment is other people telling you how to fix things you don't know how to fix. But it might be kind of cool to, or like have like a holoportation built into it, so like a guy could come and like talk in your ear and be like, no, 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 you don't want to do that. You're gonna break it worse, kind of stuff. You
Yeah,
know?
dude. Because like I'm like a YouTube mechanic. Watch 1,000 YouTube videos on how to replace a starter on a car, and then you're able to replace the starter. Like if there was that database that was like, okay, I have a 1986 Honda Rebel that needs the starter replaced, and I could go pull that up, and it would automatically like map my motorcycle or something,
Exactly.
and tell me how to do it.
Exactly. And I talked to him about, I was like, why didn't you guys use spatial mapping? And it's, the spatial mapping is not quite good enough yet on the HoloLens. It would just be like a big blob. But you could have a QR code and just print off the QR code and put it right next to it, or even on your phone. Just set your phone right there, map the QR code on it, boom, it knows where you are. That's where it puts the holograms. And then the cool thing is, too, is like you could still use those YouTube videos, just attach them to specific parts of the device. So you wouldn't even have to go out the whole new training. Someone just needs to go in and say, on this step, you do this. On this location, you do this. So I really hope they look towards putting out an open source version or look towards a community version of this, because Manifest looks really cool, and we're not a Fortune 500 company, so we're not going to be able to afford, because they're dealing with people like Ford and Boeing and that kind of stuff. Really great people, though. Let's see, what else did we get to see? Oh yeah, we also got to see the recording, their mixed reality recording.
Let's talk about their AI.
Oh yeah.
Failed.
So they also had some artificial intelligence demos there. Two specifically, one that would look at your face and tell you how old you were, and one that would tell you what kind of dog you were. And Austin, how old are you according to the AI?
According to the AI, I'm 33 years old.
And I'm 28. So I think they're test-based. Everybody else we saw, it got within like a year or two of their age, but those were all people in like their 40s and late 30s. So I think that was probably their test base, was not 21-year-olds and 22-year-olds. And then the kind of dog, I was a German Shepherd, or
no, I was a German Shepherd.
I was a border collie.
Border collie. Yeah.
Border collie, which is cool.
Yeah.
So, anyways, they had some AI stuff. I wish it would have been a little bit more focused on AI, but they didn't. Then they had the mixed reality recording room, which is the room where they record like ActionGram and all those really high resolution holograms and stuff. It was really cool. It was really nice, and we have a whole video about that, so that's probably better for the video. But it was cool. They had like a whole makeup booth where like actors would get ready, and then like the place they would record them and everything. Probably cost hundreds of thousands of dollars to set that room up.
Best lighting I've ever experienced.
Oh yeah, from every angle. It was awesome. And then we got to talk to the people that made Spectator View, the Microsoft team that designed it, and the kid that runs the GitHub page and coded everything and built out the 3D CAD programs and stuff, the CADs for them and everything. Really great people. They gave us lots of insight on how to do it, and maybe we'll be looking into doing a Spectator View type thing in the future, because they were really supportive and nice talking about it. It was cool. They had like a really nice Blackmagic camera set up with the rig on it, and we just back and forth with them for a while. Really great people. It was cool. Did you know, Paul, that only one person runs the entire Spectator View thing?
Wow, that's pretty crazy. I thought it was like a little bigger project. Like, I know usually teams aren't that big on stuff like this, but still, only one person. Wow.
There's one kid, and he's not much older than us. He did all the coding for it and a lot of the design for it and everything. It was really cool. He's really smart.
He's a genius.
He was really, really smart. It was kind of intimidatingly smart. So Jackson, if you hear this, shout out to you. What else? Oh yeah, we got to try Halo.
Oh yeah, how is that? I heard about that, and I was like, how is that gonna be? So inform me if you're.
I didn't get to try it. Austin tried it though.
So I tried it. Let me say it was awesome. Like, so you have the MR controllers, and you're dual wielding SMGs. Like, that's cool in the first place. And it basically runs you. like, you remember the first Halo where it runs you through the training round?
Yes.
It's kind of like that, but like it's a lot more rudimentary, which to be expected. Like they're still in development for it, and you just basically target practice a bunch of grunts, and it's pretty awesome.
It's like a shooter on wheels, kind of
Yeah.
like Time Crisis or
Yeah.
one of those old style. So it's not like an actual like Halo shooter. Think Terminator. You know how there's always the Terminator
Yeah.
ones? Yeah, it was like that.
It's like that.
Yeah, but it was in VR, which is cool. The graphics looked really good from my view. I didn't
Yeah.
get to try it, but I saw him doing it on a computer.
Yeah, it was super fun.
Can I say the MR controllers are awesome?
Oh, they look so cool.
They look beautiful. Like, so the lights were kind of dim where we were, and they have lights all over the ring, and they're really bright, and they just look really pretty. We took pictures of them and stuff. We're going to be doing a whole video on all this stuff where we got video of it and everything. But they feel really good in your hand. They're really seamless. I mean, it was cool. It was cool to. It was so like fast. Like I would grab something and it was like instant. I don't know. It just felt really natural and really good to interact with holograms. I cannot wait till hopefully they come to HoloLens. Could you imagine interacting with holograms with those
I know,
things?
it'd be super natural, super easy.
Which we'll get into more of that in a minute. All right. Anything else? Any other questions, Austin? Hit us up. Paul. Any other questions?
So, is this the future of computing then? Are these headsets the future of computing to you guys? Or do you think it still needs to go to HoloLens level? Or do you think we put HoloLens on the back burner and we're doing VR headsets for the foreseeable future?
I think Microsoft is going to push their VR stuff and put HoloLens on the back burner because this is more attainable. But I think this is a really, really good way to get people on board with. They've coined it. The new term is cross reality. That's the new term. If you do VR, if you do AR, MR, if you do anything, it's called cross reality. So I think there's so many different terms. It's so messy. It's so terrible. So I think cross reality is definitely the future, and I think the VR headsets, the mixed reality headsets, is a good way to get people onto there, don't you?
Oh yeah,
Super
definitely.
palatable.
Yeah, like super natural, easy to do it. As is the HoloLens, but I mean it's hard to afford one of those.
Exactly.
So, what like once everyone's sold on this mixed reality, it's actually in your reality. It's they already have this solution where you can go outside with your mixed reality. So I think people will easily buy into that.
And the
idea.
developers can easily port their apps
Yep.
to a HoloLens type setup. So yes, I think this restored a lot of my faith because I got to meet a lot of people that were really excited, and I just saw how much money Microsoft is dumping into this. I mean, they just bought this building and built it for no reason. I mean, to have another academy. So I mean, and this was not cheap. They had like 30 computers, tons of different devices, tons of HoloLenses, really nice rooms. I mean, this was not a cheap place to build. So this just shows how much they're investing into this and how much they're betting on this future, which is really exciting for us. It was cool too, is because we're like little guys. Like I imagine us as really, really little guys, but I mean, we were dealing with people that their customers are huge, and they were like friends with us. They were talking with us like we were
super
friends.
kind.
It was really awesome to meet the community, and especially for us, that was. I think Microsoft, honestly, in my opinion, needs to do a better job of facilitating. Sorry, I have ADHD.
It's okay.
I think Microsoft needs to do a better job of facilitating a community, though, because it feels really lonely.
Yeah,
I guess this is a good time to talk about this.
like Jesse, he needs a job for Microsoft.
Yeah, well, first off, Jesse knows more than any Microsoft employee there, so he should work for them. But I mean, it feels really lonely, like being out here in the middle of Utah with nobody else that's interested in it, and it's really hard to get people interested in it. There needs to be they need someone like Jesse to head it for Microsoft, to head community development, because we need more like alt space apps or more stuff like Slack meetups for us to get to know each other and talk to each other, because there's really nothing. I mean, Paul, you could probably attest, it gets pretty lonely not meeting anybody else that's interested in it.
Yeah, like I would have loved to go to more like conventions and stuff and meet these people because they all sound really awesome, and it's like awesome like being on the Slack and stuff and everyone's really nice, but until you meet them in person it's kind of different, you know, like nothing beats like a person-to-person conversation. Like, yeah, you can write as many messages and emails as you want, but until you like are actually with someone, it doesn't feel like a community, you know?
No, you're exactly right.
You're 100% right, because when I got home and I went up the mountain to go hunting and I got around the campfire, everyone's like, "So did you meet Bill Gates?" I'm like, "No."
You met the Bill Gates of mixed reality.
Yeah. But I'm like, "You guys know nothing about this, do you?" Like, nobody knew what the HoloLens was or mixed reality headsets. Like, I mean, granted, they're not the type of people that would be, but
Well, and the fact that nobody knows about it, and it's good for developers to meet with other people that are excited, because they need to foster a community of excitement right now, and I don't feel like Microsoft's doing the best job of that. They're really focused on getting big companies, which I think is really important as well. But I mean, just dedicate like 1 or 2 people to facilitating a community is really what they need to do, which they are doing. I think they're making progress towards that.
#1 HoloLens fan should be the community leader.
You should be their information leader. Like, you know how there's a job for movie canon that all they do is they just make sure scenes make sense? That's basically what HoloLens fan does for the HoloLens.
yeah.
Anyways, then, any other questions, Paul? Or in the chat or anything?
I think I'm good. I think you guys kind of answered all my questions about it. I mean, other than like, how long do you think this will be the norm then? So I see a future where eventually now we're going to give up our computers monitors and everyone's just going to be using VR headsets to compute. So how long until that turns into using HoloLenses to compute, in your opinion? Seeing where the technology is now, how long until the HoloLens is to that point where it's useful in the home, like the VR?
I think this question will be a lot easier to answer at the first week of 2018. I'm really curious to see how this Christmas season goes, to see who they're actually marketing to, because that's still my biggest thing, is even after this, I still don't know who Microsoft is marketing all this stuff to. I still can't tell if they're marketing it to users, or if they're marketing it to companies, or who this is for, because they've been blasting out emails to everybody, but I don't know, I'm just kind of confused on Microsoft's angle on this whole thing. So if I could get a little bit more representation of that. The way Alex Kipman talked, seemed like we're in it for the long haul. He definitely made it sound like this is a long war. This isn't win the battle. Let's win the war, not the battle, kind of thing. So I don't know. What do you think, Austin?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I say, like you said, we'll have a better idea at the end of this year. But I mean, even rumored that Magic Leap's coming out, so that might be a game changer.
Exactly. So I'm definitely pushing for my friends to get VR headsets, though. Like Paul, you'll probably want to pick one up once you get a PC that can run one, and so I'm definitely advocating for VR stuff now, whereas I wasn't before. But let's talk a little bit about the second day of our trip, which was really exciting. Sorry, this podcast is going to run a little long, but this is the first time we've actually had something super exciting happen to us. So we got to go to
Meta Vision Technologies.
Meta augmented reality. We got to try them out. Wasn't that awesome?
Oh my goodness, nicest people too.
Yes.
Like, yeah, awesome product too. Very impressed from the startup.
So you guys heard it here first. If you guys are listening, we got to go. We got to try Meta, and they didn't give us a Meta, but they wanted to, but they don't have any to give away. Let me collect my thoughts for a second. They had a box, and we got to do a Meta unboxing. And side by side, we got to hold it side by side to the HoloLens, to the Acer headset. We got to do the whole rundown. They let us try it. They let us film the whole thing. So we're gonna be doing a whole video. So Meta unboxing, which I don't think anybody's done yet. I haven't seen anything on YouTube. We did a Meta unboxing.
It's kind of like a shoddy unboxing, though.
It's really shoddy, but it's like totally run and gun. But that's how the whole thing was.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff lined up because we're just like, because Meta's so let's take a couple steps back. We've been wanting to try Meta for how long?
Since we've heard about the Meta 2 release.
Before the release, even Meta 1, we've been wanting to try them forever. And they came to Sundance, which is in Park City, which is pretty close to us, and we missed it. They didn't announce that they were going to be there. We totally would have driven down there just to try the Meta, but we weren't there. So we thought we're in San Francisco, which is like 50 minutes away from where Meta is based. We're like, let's just Uber down there and see if they'll let us try it.
It's a little touch and go there for a moment, though.
We were made a really big gamble, and so we just caught an Uber down, and we showed up at their building, and they were really weirded out that we were there, and they were in the middle of moving, and we almost didn't get to try it. We talked to the first person. They're like, no, there's no way you can try it. You can only go to go check out our website. And I'm like, I've already been to your website. Please just let me try the Meta. We came here all the way from Utah, and she's like, I'm sorry, I can't do anything. But luckily, the head of marketing was in the same room as us.
He just walked by, and he's like, oh, I'll see what I can do.
Yeah. And he walked out, and they got the whole thing all set up for us. And totally awesome. Paul, fire away with some questions. Probably the best way to do this.
Okay, so what was the demo like that you guys got to do?
All right. So first, she demonstrated like how to put it on. It's actually a really comfortable device, like rated one of the most comfortable devices by
The Verge.
By The Verge, and so
By the Holo Herald too.
yeah, it's awesome. It's super comfortable. It looks really like futuristic to me, and like we have some cool HD pictures that we're gonna show, but like the front is like 2 glass panes, like, but it looks like a mirror.
Yeah.
It's really cool, and like they explain like a bunch of different gestures that you use, and it's very natural. Like you reach out and grab an object, you pull it towards you, and then to scale something, you grab it on the other side and just whoop, and there you go. It's bigger. And then you can make it smaller just like that and push it back into the shelves. It was really simple to use, really easy, really natural. And it was a little glitchy, but nothing too bad. And
Exactly.
way cooler. And like it was hard like adjusting to just natural movements than from using the Holland so much where you're just air tapping.
Yeah.
Like I was trying to do this. But
So yeah, let me interrupt you for a second.
Yeah.
So Meta, I'm super on board with Meta. Before I was super confused on what they were doing. I have no idea what's going on. They don't do a lot of marketing stuff. They don't really explain a lot. But I'm super on board with what Meta's doing, and I'm going to probably stop comparing the Meta to the HoloLens because I think they're trying to accomplish 2 different things in 2 different styles and going at it 2 completely different ways. So on the HoloLens, to interact with holograms, you air tap. And that's just what we're used to. That's how it's a very stagnant motion. It's clicking on things. But Meta's philosophy is that you're in augmented reality. Everything should be focused around those holograms and focused around it. You shouldn't air tap on stuff. You should actually interact with those holograms. And so their philosophy is if you see it, you should just be able to reach out and grab it. And that's what they did. And it was incredible. Can I say, I got chills the first time I put it on and tried it. So on the HoloLens, we're used to if you put a hologram, let's say a body, you just air tap to select on the lungs or air tap to do on stuff like this. So let's say you start out with the Meta and there's a pane in front of you with a bunch of different stuff, and you see one of those things and you think, okay, I go to air tap on it, and that's how you do it on the HoloLens. But on the Meta, you literally reach out and your hand goes on it and you grab it, and you just, as you squeeze, you actually grab the hologram and you pull it out and you can set it down. It tracks onto your hand and you can actually hold it. You can grab a hologram and look at it, move it around, and set it down. And let's say it's a body, and let's say you look inside of the body and you see some lungs. Oh, you're like, okay, those are cool. You reach down and you just pull the lungs off of the body and you set it down. And like Austin said, you can use your hands. This makes no sense because we don't have a visual representation, but we have videos. We'll have a whole video coming out about this soon. You can just grab one edge of the lugs, grab the other edge of the lug, and just go like and expand it just like you would. It's so seamless. It's so incredible. And for a company like Meta that has such small funding and
They had like how many employees?
120 employees, one building, not even one building, they had one floor. They just barely expanded to 2 floors. To accomplish what they've accomplished is incredible.
And like the head of marketing guy, like he was very proud of like the visual of the product. It is beautiful. Like it has leather on it that just looks,
so the actual headset themselves.
Yeah, it just looks awesome. And then it's got this cool stand that you can set it on, which the HoloLens needs one. Microsoft. And
Yeah.
it's just super it's a beautiful device.
The device itself is elegant. They said they designed it off of old mechanical cameras with leathers. So it's got leather fixtures over the whole device. It just feels like a very premium device. Even it's only $1,500. So you could get 2 of them for the price of it. Granted, you still got to plug it into a high-power computer.
Yep.
The guy said that you're going to run it off of any computer that can run VR can run this. And it was, I mean, I can't explain. So, Paul, to me, this is one of our biggest complaints about HoloLens. So you know how when you have a hologram against a wall and you wave your hand in front of it, you can totally tell it totally breaks the illusion? Because your hand, the hologram's now in front of your hand.
Your hand is behind the hologram, yeah.
Yeah, when it shouldn't. Well, on Meta, that's not what happens. It's like it should. Your hand is in front of the hologram, which is incredible when you think about it. It uses tracking on your hand, and it blurs out the edges. I mean, it crosses out the edges around it. I mean, it's incredible. So when you wave your hand in front of it, or let's say you set down a hologram behind something and you walk in front of it, it'll disappear. Real time, it'll disappear. Not take a second to do it, or if your hand's in front of it. I mean, unbelievable. It was awesome. What are some other questions? Do you have any other questions, Paul?
Yeah, so you guys say it's super comfortable, but how's the interaction with the device? How does it operate? What's the OS? You know how with the HoloLens, it feels almost like a phone with the way the dashboard is set up, where you can pull apps out of. How does it work on the Meta?
Exactly.
And does it have voice connect? Does it have an AI that works with it?
So I forgot to ask about an AI. That's a really good question that I should have asked. But we only got to try their home menu, which is basically a bunch of HoloLens apps. They have a music visualizer, they have a body app, they have a bunch of different apps. And instead of they said they're Microsoft. Not to crap on Microsoft or anything like that. I didn't feel any animosity between them really. The companies, which I think is really nice. They said Microsoft thinks in a very 2D view. It's
It ported over the Windows OS to their holographic OS.
Exactly. And they're that's not the right ideology. We want to progress augmented reality. So your OS should be augmented reality. It shouldn't be a flat wall to select apps. It should be a shelf with apps on it that you can reach up and grab what you want, which I really like that ideology in my opinion. And there's no need for controllers anymore. The hand control was incredible, by the way. It was very seamless. You don't have to go really slow. I could really just reach out, grab it, and I've got it. It's incredible. And you do have to roll up your sleeves for now so it can detect your hands better, but they says they're improving gestures. So you know how air tap, whenever you teach someone how to air tap, they always just do a really crappy job at it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a terrible job.
Exactly.
No one...
Yeah, they said there's 4 or 5 different ways you can grab the holograms, and Meta will realize it. So if people pinch them, or if people grab this with a closed hand, or if some people hand grasp them, they say it'll register all of those. If I was going to get somebody into augmented reality, I would get them on the Meta first before the HoloLens, and then I would graduate them to the HoloLens. Is that how you feel about it? Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. What's your reasoning behind that?
It's just more seamless, I think. I hate teaching people air tapping. I like the ideology of the Meta much better, where it's it really gets people in the mindset of interacting with holograms and interacting with this new world. I really like that. Go ahead.
So how was the FOV in comparison? I know
great
you're going to
question.
say you want to say we're going to stop comparing the two, but it's all we have to compare right now. So how is the FOV on the Meta compared to the HoloLens?
Incredible.
And is it noticeable?
It's so the thing is, it's not noticeable, which makes it great. Yeah. You know how one of the first things you notice when putting on the HoloLens is the FOV, right?
There's a box.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that. That was one of the first things. It felt seamless. So you would look at a hologram, and it would be in your peripherals before it disappeared. So you'd have to look basically all the way. I can't remember the exact degrees of it, but it was awesome. It was really great. And now I preface this by saying exactly like Paul said. It's okay to compare the experiences, but They're two different things. Sorry. So the FOV was incredible though, dude, and the resolution of the holograms were incredible too. They were really high resolution, and it actually did like a focus thing. So if you like looked at a hologram, it would actually focus on that hologram, and as you got closer, it would come in and out of focus.
And that's based on the fact that it can run on a high-spec PC when the HoloLens is a standalone device. So it's to be expected. Like, I wouldn't expect anything less from a Meta, you know.
Exactly. So I think that's one of our main reasons to not compare them is just it's like comparing console gaming to computer gaming. Obviously, computer gaming is going to be better, you know, but why? Yeah. So it's really not fair to compare them all the time. And we got to do size comparisons. By the way, the Meta doesn't rest on your nose like the HoloLens does.
Nope. It's completely suspended.
It's completely suspended like a VR device. It's really nice. I mean, we want one really bad. We're definitely looking to get one, and hopefully, if you guys are listening now, if we make a Meta video, please go comment on the video and like and say, hey, you guys need to get one of these because we want to be on Meta's radar to get our hands on one because it was really cool. It was awesome. I mean, I just can't tell you how cool it is to reach out and grab a hologram. That is just incredible. And it's something you can't think about or realize how cool it is until you've tried it.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. It was
That's
awesome.
nice. You guys got to try those. That's
Yeah.
The
It's
nice
incredible.
guys at Meta.
Yeah, and it's just incredible to see what they've done because when you think of Microsoft with how many hundreds of thousands of employees and millions of dollars in funding and all this crazy stuff, billions of dollars in funding, I don't know, it was pretty crazy. Well, anything else? I guess we didn't have any time to do news today. We just forgo the trip.
Just a tidbit of Magic Leap drama. They
Oh.
have updated their website.
Wait, they did?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I haven't seen this yet. Is this brand new? Oh, wow, that is different.
And it just,
That's significantly different.
yeah. So it's got the watch their story and keep in touch. Go check it out. I haven't checked it out, but I know Noah. He posted in the Discord for Magic Leap. He said they updated their website. So go check it out.
It was funny. I cracked a lot of Magic Leap jokes around Meta and around him, and everybody thought they were hilarious.
Yeah.
So, but from seeing what Meta can accomplish with such little funding, Magic Leap better be incredible, man.
Yeah. It better be next level.
I mean, it better be mind-freaking-blowing. To see what Meta accomplished with a few developers and a little bit of funding in a random place for a few years, Magic Leap better be incredible, dude. But anyways, so we got AR kit. Oh, yeah, we got a VR device. I didn't even say that. You guys saw it on my head. We got a VR device. Thank you to Jesse. He gave us one. He already has a couple others, so he tossed us one our way. Hopefully we'll be getting our hands on another one. If we get another couple, we'll probably be doing a giveaway on our channel for them, so be watching for that.
Number one HoloLens fan said we missed the article on the HoloLens 2 larger FOV.
Oh, yeah, that's already big news. I think everybody in MR already saw that, basically.
Yeah, we all know about that.
So
But
HoloLens
yes,
is
it's
planning on
awesome.
doubling their FOV, which I'm still curious on how this is going to work.
There is a detailed explanation, I think, but I haven't read it, so
Detailed explanation is different than actually trying it, though.
that's true.
I'm super curious to see what happens. Anyways, we're going to be doing AR kit stuff. We're going to be pumping out tons of content, be watching all of our videos from the event that we just talked about. Anything else, guys?
No, I think that's it.
I think that's about it. Yeah.
Chinatown's awesome.
San Francisco was great. Thank you guys for listening. We'll be here same time, same place next week, and expect some great content. Catch you guys in the next one.
Bye.
We'll see ya.